Hi everyone. This topic is about hiya or shame or saving face. So there's this foreigner, and then so they had a party in their house, and then they invited some friends and some family members, and then it was quite a party according to him. But apparently you know, I think it was like 9 or 10 p.m. So he wanted the his wife or girlfriend's family to go home because it's already late and he wants to rest, and at the same time he believes that it's too much, like party. They I think they started partying from before lunch until 10 or 11. But according when he told his girlfriend or wife about that, like, hey, maybe it's about time to tell them to go home, she said it's nakakahiya. It's embarrassing. So what is hiya? Hiya is like shame or embarrassment. So, guys, the best way to hurt someone, especially a Filipino, is to make them feel embarrassed. So, for example, me. Yes. So, do you remember when suddenly there were influx of comments from other Filipinos on my YouTube account? So, and then suddenly they were saying like, walang hiya ka, di ka na nahiya, Pilipino ka pa naman, hindi ka tumutulong. So, what does that mean? You are, you're shameless, you're a Filipino, but you're making our country embarrassing, something like that. Then there were some even saying like, nakakahiya ka, di ka mag-Tagalog o kaya mag-Bisaya. That's so tanga. Tanga means stupid. Yes, and I can say that now. So, they said I should speak in Visayan or Tagalog, which is okay, but most of you can speak in English. They can speak in English. But on the other hand, guys, I cannot speak Visayan even if I'm like one half of one fourth, like my grandma, maybe something like that. I don't know. I think my grandma is not, my father's side is Visayan, so my dad is technically half Kapampangan, half Visayan, and I only got it one fourth. So I couldn't speak the language, and I grew up in a Kapampangan household. What do you expect? Although I grew up with my stepmom, of course, but she wouldn't speak in Visayan to me. So that is what I mean. Hiya is very important for Filipino. So that's why saving face is important for them. Now, there are many kinds of hiya. One kind of hiya is, let's say, being embarrassed to do something out of social norm. For example, let's say going to church. Like, you shouldn't wear something sexy when you're going to church because it's not a social norm. Number two, another form of hiya is like being embarrassed in front of other people by another person who has accused you of something. Now, that is also embarrassing, or like trying to save face, like, especially, like what I've said, what happened to me. Like they said, oh, I'm shameless because I was talking about Filipinos in a bad way. So I'm also walang hiya or shameless. Another form of walang hiya is, for example, uh, you are helping me. Let's say, we are send. Let's say you are my family, and then you're helping me, and then let's say my life became better, and then you ask me for a favor. Let's say, Mira, can I please borrow your car? Blah blah blah. But then in my case, let's say I need the car to drive to my work. And then you would be ranting out on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere, and to our family members that I am walang hiya or shameless by the time, because when you were helping me, he never complained, and yet this one small favor, I don't have any appreciation for what they did for me or what you did for me. So that is walang hiya, shameless, because I am not appreciating the moral obligation that you have done for me. So that's another walang hiya. Another walang hiya is like borrowing money without returning it. So that's also another walang hiya. And then what else? Anyway, anything that would embarrass a Filipino. So there are a lot of things that would embarrass a Filipino. Number one, if you tell them that they are ill-mannered, if they are uneducated, if they're, physically especially. That's why I'm so insecure about my weight, because it's embarrassing for me when my family tells me, "Oh, you were so thin before, but now you're so fat," like that. So I tell them, "Okay, so I won't send you a Christmas gift. It's even now. No more money. I'm done with it." And that's also like walang hiya. And another thing that would make them feel embarrassed sometimes is like, even when they're dating foreigners, when they're dating like old foreigners, married, sometimes married foreigners, people would gossip about them as walang hiya because they're shameless to do something that is out of social norm. Another thing that is embarrassing for them or walang hiya for them is kabet. Kabet means mistress. If you're a mistress and you're like flaunting it and you're proud of it, they also call you walang hiya. So there are so many things that would embarrass, and Filipinos would be defensive about it. Why is this so important for us? I think it's from the Spanish colonization, where Christianity was really ingrained into us. Like, for example, respect your parents, so you have to give back to people who has done good to you. So number one is your parents, right? So you'll be ingrata or walang hiya if you don't really follow what they want because they fed you basically. And then another one, I think it's from that part in our culture, and then also with the Americans, where they can get more, what do you call that, more respect from others, if especially if they got some respect from Americans or something like that. Even with Koreans, let's say, for example, um, let's say Filipinos went to Korea. Naturally, they are happy and then they're loud in Korea. And then they would also call us walang hiya. So, and anything that is out of social norm is basically walang hiya, or they are like, what do you call that? Ruining our reputation. Although I don't know what kind of reputation we have. I do, but maybe next time I'll discuss that. So, yeah, anyway, that really hurts our feelings. So, how about your girlfriend? How does this affect your girlfriend? Well, first of all, never embarrass your girlfriend in front of other people, in front of her friends, in front of her family, in front of the Philippine country. So, something like that. Because it's difficult for them to be embarrassed or to have that embarrassing moment. And another thing is, it is why we are crazy about parties. So we have Christmas party, New Year party, recognition, blah blah blah, because it is embarrassing if we don't celebrate. Nakakahiya, wala tayong ipapakain. Makarinela tang ipakan. That's Kapampangan in Tagalog. It means like, oh, it's embarrassing. We have nothing to put on the table, but it's your birthday. So I think sometimes my mom feels that as well. When I go home, I don't, like spend so much money on them. But I'm like, Ma, I'm passed through here. Plus, these people didn't really help me when I was in need. So I think you should tell your girlfriend that. Now, how would you handle a girlfriend who has too much hiya or embarrassed to, like we're too much worried about saving face? Well, number one, I learned this one when I was working in the hotel from the bartender. She's like my mom, and then she told me like, Mira, if they are not feeding you, they have no right to say anything against you. You have no responsibility to them or whatsoever. So but I forgot that a few years back. That's why I went on a hiatus. But now, and so that's number one. Tell them that these people, they no matter what they gossip about you, they wouldn't feed you in the end, and they wouldn't be helpful. And then number two, it's okay to be called walang hiya by people who are also walang hiya, and they want to stay in your house, because basically it's both ends, right? They are not embarrassed to exceed their stay in your house, and she's also, it's like she's trying to accommodate them with their with their with saving face or something like that. So they're just the same. So what is the best way to handle things like this in order to help her or to avoid her from feeling that? Well, aside from telling her not to worry about it, which is difficult, number two, um make her understand that it's okay to be embarrassed. I know it is a no-no in our culture, in our society, but make her understand that sometimes we couldn't accommodate everyone. And like I heard from some of the Filipina husband, like foreigners with Filipina husbands, sometimes some Filipinas are embarrassed to like send a certain amount of money because it's nakakahiya to their family. Their boyfriend is a foreigner and yet they would only send this money. Just tell them that they're not working for it. So something like that. I think as a Filipina goes or a Filipino goes older, they pay less attention to this. But for people who are young and dependent on you and has a different expectation or education, they wouldn't really understand that part. They might think that it is your job to actually provide for them. So the best way next time is to, before the party, tell her and tell them up front that this at this time, it's the end of the party. So giving them that expectation, they can prepare sooner now, right? Number two, it's okay to make her understand in a good way. Tell her to understand and to respect your privacy as well. Like you can say, oh, maybe we can do another party next year. Because if you say next time, it might be next week. Number three, make her understand that money, if unless if you're not really worried about money, it's not a problem, but you want to rest or you need privacy. So maybe if she really cares about you, she would feel embarrassed for you. Like she will feel hiya for you. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. If she has shame, she would first prioritize you before how she would feel shame against her family. And then lastly, number four, communicate. It's important to communicate and lay down your rules about that and make her understand that your actions doesn't mean you want to embarrass her, but it just means that you want to rest or to have your privacy respected as well. So, yeah, next time if your girlfriend tells you it's embarrassing, we're only going to send this amount, it's embarrassing to send them home, it's embarrassing to say this to that, it's embarrassing if we're just going to give them a Michael Kors instead of a Louis Vuitton, it's embarrassing to give them just one box of chocolate. Make her understand that it's not embarrassing, that it's okay, that they should be thankful of what you give, and so and so on. And she has no choice, especially if you're the provider. But if she uses her money, let her, but make sure that she shares your bills. No, just kidding. But anyway, it's still up to you. And yeah, I think there's no shame if you're being called walang hiya. I mean, meh. So I hope it helps, and I hope that you're in your next party you can prepare beforehand. Much better you make like an invitation like only until 10 p.m. Just kidding, but set expectation. That's very important, and communication. So I hope it helps you. And guys, sorry it's long. I had my voice, so I'm very talkative now. Take care.